In February 2021, Rashmi Samant, a 22-year-old from Udupi, Karnataka, became the first Indian woman to become president of the Oxford University Student Union. After being elected, she was harassed, trolled and labelled as racist and insensitive over a couple of social media posts she made when she was just a teenager. Ms. Samant apologized, but her apology was not accepted. She was digitally persecuted and forced to resign from her position as a student union president and go back home quite broken. Ms. Samant was a victim of cancel culture. Cancel culture is a practice of socially and financially hurting someone for something that they might have said or done that is offensive. Today, cancel culture is considered toxic, hypocritical, and immature, although it did not start like this. Cancel culture as we know it today began in 2017 with the hashtag #MeToo movement, when many women came out with the stories of sexual harassment they had to face in different parts of their lives. At the center of hashtag #MeToo movement was former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, against whom more than a dozen women came out for sexually harassing and assaulting them. Following the accusations, Harvey Weinstein was removed from his company, the Oscars Academy, his name was removed from the shows he produced, people stopped watching his movies, and finally he went to jail for the crimes he committed. Harvey Weinstein was cancelled, and rightly so. Unfortunately today, cancel culture is being used to harass and financially hurt people for having a different point of view or making simple mistakes. Celebrities have been the primary target of the new cancel culture, where they have been harassed for saying something that isn't politically correct or offend someone. For example, author of Harry Potter J.K. Rowling was cancelled earlier this year because she said that there is a biological difference between women and trans women. British cricketer Ollie Robinson was suspended from playing cricket over sexist and racist tweets he made when he was a teenager. YouTuber PewDiePie's show was cancelled because he showed Nazi imagery in his video as satire. Cancel culture is not just limited to celebrities, it is also rampantly growing in universities and high schools, especially in USA. Today, university students are cancelling each other for just having a difference of opinion. A lady's admission to University of Tennessee was taken away because she said, and I quote, "I can drive, N-word," in a 3-second video when she was just 15 years old. Even university teachers are harassing students who have a different point of view from them. Ms. Samant I talked about earlier, it was one of Oxford University's faculty member that targeted her. Last year during Black Lives Matter protests, a data analyst was fired for posting an academic article which said that peaceful protests are more effective than violent protests. And a sports announcer was fired for tweeting "All Lives Matter" instead of "Black Lives Matter." As a result, even in the land of the brave and the free, people are skeptical of speaking their minds and even talk to people who have a different opinion from theirs. Now it makes sense to socially boycott someone who has done a horrible crime, like Harvey Weinstein and others who were cancelled during the hashtag #MeToo movement, because if we don't condemn criminal actions, it will encourage others to commit crimes. Still, taking away the respect and livelihood of someone for having an unpopular opinion or making a simple mistake in the past is not only unfair but also unjust. Supporters of cancel culture say that ideas that are discriminatory and hateful shouldn't be given a platform because they can grow and harm a particular community. Yes, I agree with this argument, but bad ideas need to be fought with good ideas. Distasteful social media posts need to be fought with better social media posts. And if someone says something that hurts the sentiments of a large number of people or leads to harm, then that post should be reported. But taking away the bread and butter of an individual for simply a social media post is wrong. Another thing that scares a lot of people off nowadays is the weaponization of cancel culture. Let's take the case of Ms. Samant once again. The social media post she made as a teenager existed while she was running for the post of the student union president, and no one said a thing. It was only after she was elected as the president those posts were brought forth in a seemingly calculated move to tarnish her image. And because anyone can plan and attack someone's image using cancel culture, it prevents people from freely expressing themselves on social media out of fear that someone will hurt them. People that indulge in cancel culture are also called woke people. Being woke is simply being hyper aware of social injustices taking place in the society, like racism and inequality. Now, it is very important to stand up against discrimination and social injustices to make a better world for everyone. Woke people are different. They think that they are better than everyone else because they support some cause. And if anyone disagrees with their social cause or interpretation of what is right, they cancel that person without thinking twice how their digital activism is hurting the life of that person and its family. Cancel culture is also used as a political tool by these people. They try to prove why the other side is bad for the society and the world. But when one of their own does something racially insensitive, like Justin Trudeau doing blackface, they brush the matter under the rug. Now this kind of behavior is common among politicians. If I do something, it is right, and if you do the same thing, it is wrong. But normal people acting like politicians just to feel better than a random person online is immature behavior.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly.
In India, cancel culture is called boycott culture and is different from how it is in the West. Back at home, boycott is usually against companies, movies, ads, and books. Tanishq being boycotted for showing interreligious marriage and banning of Salman Rushdie's satanic verses are some example of boycott in India. Normal people and even celebrities are not usually cancelled in India, although they face a huge backlash if they say or do something that is not so popular. This is because India is a very diverse country, and by the time Indians graduate college, they realize that the world is full of different people with different attitudes and opinions. It is a common sight in Indian colleges where civil discussions turn into full-on shouting matches. It teaches people not to take things personally. India is also the world's most diverse and populous country, and people of all religions and ethnicities are really proud of their identity. Therefore, the probability of offending someone in India is really high, and people know this. Therefore, they do not cancel each other for having an unpopular opinion, although they do not shy away from expressing their disapproval. Yes, there is a section of Indian population that also tries to act super woke and cancel people. But the truth is, their views are just one of billions. Unlike India, diversity is a relatively new concept in the Western world, where most countries have been recently experiencing a surge in people from different religions and ethnicities due to global migration. As a result, people in Western countries are divided among those who welcome this new diversity and those who are a bit skeptical of change. Both of them need to learn that the world is a messy place and there are all sorts of people, good, bad, liberal, conservative, black, brown, and we have to learn to live with all of them. And as for Rashmi Samant, she is back at Oxford continuing her studies, and there's no stopping her now. Thank you ladies and gentlemen for coming over to my vlog. I'll see you soon.